This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Accidentally, almost didn't have any sound for a second. Forgot to unmute myself. You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks get a good win against the Dallas Mavericks. First half, I was a little bit nervous in the first half. Wasn't exactly sure what was about to happen because the Dallas Mavericks were playing tough, you know, and the scoring was off the charts in the first half of the game. But the Knicks turned up the defense in the second half of the game, and there were heroes abound in this basketball game. And, you know, for the Tyler, the Creator fans out there, you know, he was one of the heroes, especially in the second half. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, let's go ahead and get this thing on the ball, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, what's popping with you? How you feeling? Everybody in the chat, what's popping with you? How are you feeling? You know what I'm saying? After the Knicks get a win versus the Dallas Mavericks tonight. An undermanned Dallas Mavericks team, but a win nonetheless. You know, it's something, a win that we needed nonetheless. Tony, how you feeling about it?
Hey, shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. What's up, Sim? Man, we needed this. We needed this kind of second half performance at the very least. You know what I mean? We've been struggling with some teams that, you know, we should have been handling easily.
Right.
And yeah, we needed this performance, but not just the win. You know what I mean? Like you said, heroes abound. So it's so many things you could pull from this particular game. Whether you want to talk about Kolek, you know, McCullough making his first bucket, breaking Clydes' record.
Yeah, Josh Hart breaking Clydes' record. You know, nine triple doubles in
one season.
You know, and there's still a lot of season left. Well, not a lot of season left to go, but there's still some season left to go. You know what I mean? But it's, you know, 9 triple doubles in one season.
And the 2,
you know,
triple doubles by, you know, in one game by the Knicks.
Yeah,
that's history too.
That's history too.
It's like it's so, you know, and then individual. You know what I mean? OG, we gonna break it down. But it's just
OG had a great performance tonight.
It's so much. I think I'm gonna look it up, or somebody could look it up. But I think he had 24 shots. That's got to be a career high. You know what I mean? Shot attempts.
24 shot attempts tonight for OG.
You know what I mean? And that's the type of aggression we need from him, especially in Brunson's absence. But when Brunson returns, he was on a stretch though. You know, when Brunson was still here, where he was improving and you know, it was 20 points. So yeah, this is great.
Yeah, and you know, you can see that he's becoming more and more confident in creating his own shot, you know, taking charge and figuring, okay, it's time for me to score the basketball and all those things. Becoming way, you know, much more confident in that. You know, and that's something that we asked for from OG since he's been on this basketball team.
And something, you know, some of us weren't sure he was capable of it. You know what I mean? Like
if he had the mindset.
A lot of us thought Mikal was better suited for what we're seeing from OG. You know what I mean? And vice. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was great, man. OG. It was one point in the game he did a drive and a dunk, and I had missed it. I just caught the dunk part. So I'm like, oh, OG, you know what I mean? Somebody must have caught him cutting. They showed a replay. I'm like, oh,
he went off the dribble. Oh, yeah, he went off the dribble. He went off the dribble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it was, yeah, he went off the dribble. The Mavs defense isn't that good. It's not, and they showed it tonight. Obviously, they're playing undermanned. They're a team that, I mean, they have some talent on that team, some young talent on the team, as they proved tonight. They just, didn't have enough talent to be able to compete with the Knicks on this night. You know what I mean? But in the first half, it looked like it was going to be a close game. You know what I mean?
think
The Knicks really
I
turned
think
up the defense in the second half, though.
I think they had 7 available players, and they were on the back end of a back to back.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a crazy. They got like 8 injured players. It's been a crazy span for the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I mean? But that might be karma for them.
Sam, I think we hit
Might be karma.
42, right? Assists.
40, yeah, something like that. Something like that.
You know what I
40
mean? That's
assists.
another.
40 assists, I think.
We've been asking for a consistent 30. You know
You know
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying? 40,
Here they
40
are
assists.
having 40 assists. So
Yeah, 40
this
assists.
is a great game.
Hopefully they can, because we play tomorrow night, right? It's going to be the second half of a back-to-back. Mitch should play tomorrow night. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we can have a repeat performance. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see if we can have that type of performance tomorrow night. We need the offense, but we need the offense, and we know we can get offense from this basketball team. Although there have been nights when we couldn't get offense from this basketball team, but the defense that we saw in the second half, they really did lock down in the second half at times. I'm really hoping that we can use that and say, okay, if we play this type of defense every night, you know what I'm saying, that we will, we're going to be more successful. We'll see. You know what I mean? But the type of defense they played in that second half that's what we want from this Knicks basketball team. You know what I mean? That's exactly what we want from the basketball team. Breaking down the box score tonight. A lot of numbers to talk about here. OG Anunoby led the way in scoring with 35 points. Shot 62% from the field. He was 50% from the 3-point line. Only 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He only went twice. Karl Anthony Towns, triple-double, 26 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds for Karl Anthony Towns. Josh Hart, a triple-double, 16 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds for Josh Hart. 21 points for Mikal Bridges. Precious had 11 points. Landry Shamet had 11 points. Tyler Kolek, 2 points, 9 assists. A lot of stuff going on and going around, with this team tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Good numbers all the way around. The Knicks scored 128 points tonight. They shot 59% from the field, 38% from the 3-point line. You know what I mean? Good, decent enough game from the Knicks tonight. The Dallas Mavericks, Najee Marshall had 38 points. He was on fire in the first half of the game. No one could stop him. He was scoring at will in the first half of the game. 38.7 rebounds for Najee Marshall. 22 points for Brandon Williams. 15 points for Jaden Hardy. 13 points and 7 assists for Spencer Dinwiddie. But just not enough players out there on the floor for the Dallas Mavericks. Klay Thompson didn't do much tonight. Spencer Dinwiddie, he was okay, 13.7 assists. You know what I mean? A depleted team for the Dallas Mavericks, but they'll be like that. They're still fighting, though. They play hard, and they're still fighting for, to try to get into that play-in, which I guess they should be. You know what I mean? Guess they should be, but good, good win for the Knicks tonight. That's, 2 in a row for the Knicks now? Against sub-500 ball clubs, but I don't care. I don't care. We need to win. So, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What up, Sam? What up, Tony? How y'all fellas doing?
Good.
Peace, family.
Sam,
Yes, sir.
my thing about Cam starting and we looking better starting our games, even though he ain't doing that much, it just seems like we moving faster, we're more on the rhythm. So when Deuce come back, I hope Tibbs just keep Cam in there until our captain come back.
Okay.
Because it seems like we start out faster in the beginning of games with Cam. But whatever, he ain't looking at Chuck like he be doing on the bench when the other stars ain't out there.
Yeah.
So he looked like he more reserved where he got Cat and Bridges and OG next to him. When he just see Deuce there and nobody else, he's like, I gotta shoot.
Okay.
So I hope they keep him there.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the Clippers tomorrow night. The Clippers are the Clippers are 2 and 3 steps above the last two teams we played.
We every back-to-back game, we always suck in that second game. I don't expect nothing tomorrow. That's who we are all year long. We would come out with a pretty good first game. That second game on the back on my double-double. I'm copywriting that. On my double-double, we suck.
Double-doubles. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Double-doubles.
We suck on that back-to-back, that second game of the back. We haven't played a good game on that back-to-back second game all year long.
Yeah.
But if we come out even looking half decent tomorrow, I'll be shocked.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, listen, I think the team is, hopefully they're on edge, you know what I'm saying? And understand that, they gotta win these ball games. The Clippers are 40-31. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're playing good basketball. They lost their last game, but they're playing good basketball. Like Kevin just said, tomorrow is a better test. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow is the test. You know what I mean? So, we're talking about Cam. They're starting off better. We played the Wizards and we played a depleted Dallas Mavericks team.
If I could
add,
add,
Hart might not play, so we might get lucky if Harden don't play.
Oh, if Harden, maybe, right? If Harden doesn't play.
So someone in the chat said Harden's out, but prior to me seeing that, I was thinking, this is a real test for this team because it's a measuring stick on our growth, without Brunson, because they were the first team we played. He got hurt against the Lakers. They're the first team we played without Brunson.
There you go.
So it's a real measuring stick of our growth, since then.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? And
hey, y'all fellas, did y'all hear that thing about Dame? He got a blood clot in his calf.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Big popped it out, so he out indefinitely. I'm like, another blood clot?
Wow, that's the same. That was the same thing that happened with what's his name from Miami,
Chris Bosh and somebody recently.
Yeah,
somebody else. Wemby, right?
Wemby, yeah.
They said, I kept hearing when Wemby had it, they saying that thing can happen when players are on the planes a lot. So I'm like thinking, is all these back-to-back games affecting these players that they can have these kind of blood clots?
Did you say when they're on the plane? You said when they're on planes a lot?
They say that, travel a lot can cause these kind of blood clots.
Yeah. But that would also explain why the NBA is trying to have more. If the Knicks are in LA, they play the Lakers, they play the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? More of those type of games. Or you might play Chicago twice.
Shorter flights.
Shorter flights and less traveling and stuff. That would at least be part of the reason, part of the explanation. I was blinded. I was blinded by the news that the Giants signed Russell Wilson.
I knew that was coming. I
felt that was coming too.
How you feel about it, real quick?
I'm happy they got a black quarterback. They got two black quarterbacks.
Two.
That's what I'm saying.
Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
Hold on. Guys, they never had no black quarterback. Now they going black on black crime? What we doing?
Double, man.
Double, baby. Double.
See, I'm a Jets fan. I'm like, hold on. I'm shocked at this. Giants with 2 black quarterbacks?
Yeah, man.
I think they're the last team that ever, and then they had no black quarterback.
The entire NFC East. If Russell Wilson is assuming he's the starter, the entire NFC East has black quarterbacks starting. Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Tim?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, baby.
Well, we'll see how the ratings go.
I think it's a good
Yeah,
thing.
because New York both got black quarterbacks, the Jets and the Giants. So we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, now the Giants got to, fill out the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Get some protection. Obviously, he can use his feet. Not like before, but he can still use his feet, fill out the offensive line. Got some things to do still. You know what I mean? Got some things to do.
It's progress.
Before I go, fellas, I'm letting you know straight up, I was about to cut off this game in the first half. I'm like, how are we giving up plus 60 points to this team with no AD, no Kyrie? Nobody can guard Najee. Nobody. I was looking for my boy Bouchon, but he wasn't even on the bench. So my boy McCullough finally got baby Hart. They gave him a little minute, so they brought him up for a little taste. I'm like, nobody can stop Najee Marshall in the first half. Nobody.
Hey, that man was cooking in the first half. That man was cooking.
That's what we need, Sam. We need I love Precious.
That man was cooking.
But he too consistent for me. We need a Najee Marshall type of our backup power forward. We can find somebody like that next year. Because I don't see
we'll come here and be
Cam
just as
and Precious in
inconsistent
next year.
Yeah. So, my man Josh, I think you do have a point here, Josh. Just about the Giants, really, really quick. I know we off topic and whatnot. He said, stopgap black QBs do not change the fact that they are not putting a black QB as the face of the franchise. These signings aren't fooling me. I agree. I agree with you there. Let's see what happens in the future. But the Giants have had, one or two black stopgap quarterbacks. Let's see where it goes and what happens. You know what I mean, let's see. Russell Wilson played good for the Steelers. I think he still proved he's a starter in the league. I think he still proved he's a starter in the league. So we'll see what transpires from here. But we're talking about the Knicks. The Knicks had a good night tonight. You know what I mean? Good night. Silk. The last show, the elephant in the room was Tyler. You know what I mean? There's some people in here, just waiting for me to speak on Tyler. Silk, your thoughts?
He does what he does. He can assist. He ain't gonna be scoring no 10 and 15, but he'll hit the open player to get him in his spot to get him his point. That's what we need from a backup point. We don't need a backup point to be a scorer. We need a backup point to get the guys in the right spot, give them the ball, let them shoot the shot. So Tyler's doing what he's able to do right now. He ain't gonna be getting no 10 points per game on nobody right now, but he'll get the. Because who's in there with him? Cat. He getting Cat rolling to the rim, nice passes. He ain't got to fumble or bumble it. Mm-hmm. He's scooping and going right to the rim. He's making shots easier for the role players, and that's the role of a backup point. So Tyler's doing. Okay. He ain't no. I'm hearing crazy stuff like it's Tyler's style of the moment. Come on, everybody got to calm down.
They said his moment.
Yeah,
as a young player, this is his time.
Tyler the creator. They making him like a he can be in the All-Star game next year. Let's calm down. He's doing what a backup point guard does.
Okay, I agree with you. This is his time to prove that he
is rotation.
Is a rotation player. This is his time to prove that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he gonna replace Cam next year. It's automatic. It's money thing. He ain't making no money. We ain't giving Cam that kind of money.
Neither Cam or Sham is going to be on this team. I knew that from the beginning of the season that neither one of those guys was going to be on this team next year.
And I got to add Precious to that too. I don't think Precious is going to be back either.
I don't know. I guess we got to see what transpires with Mitch and all of that kind of stuff. We'll see with Precious. I think Tibbs doesn't use Precious to. He only slots him in at the 5. You know what I mean? So when Mitch is playing, he's not getting burned, and I think he can defend threes as well as fours. So you can use him in that spot, I think, off the bench.
I think Huck Pody got pressure spot next year at the backup.
Oh, okay.
At backup 4 or 5.
Yeah. At the backup 4. I mean, at the backup 5. Well, I guess if it depends how things go. If Mitch is starting, and then you have Huck Pody at the backup 5, you still need a backup 4.
I think they're gonna pick up somebody, another big, to go with Huck Pody. I don't think it's gonna be Precious.
Okay. I mean, that could be. That could be.
It seems like he only plays good when he gets minutes. If he got short minutes, his energy ain't the same. And he ain't a good of an offensive player to demand.
That's true.
20 minutes a game.
Right.
15 minutes a game.
He's not that level of offensive player, but he's got some skill sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
And so that's why
sometimes
Miami
he's got some skill. You see something that he could do. He post up a little post up move, or he had a nice. I thought he showed a nice touch and footwork tonight. He caught the ball on him. I forgot who passed it. Maybe it was Tyler. I don't know. Passed it to him, and then he caught it, tippy-toed, and turned around and laid it in.
Sometimes I can see why Miami and Toronto get frustrated with this dude. He shows he could dunk on people. He shows he got a little post in the paint, and then he shows airball city. He's frustrated.
Yeah.
I can see why other teams got rid of him because he's frustrating. He got athletic ability, but he doesn't put it together. He doesn't show aggression.
Yeah. Well.
But it is what it is.
I think he'll for a while he'll have a spot in the league for a while though.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be with us. I think his time with us is done.
Okay, we'll see. Silk,
all right, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good one.
Peace.
Silk.
Yeah, so Tony, Kevin Bergen in the chat said, something like, Tibbs is whatever if he doesn't find time for Tyler. Greg is, making all kinds of emojis and doing whatever, because we hadn't mentioned him yet, because he's antsy. Greg is antsy. Your thoughts. I know what mine are, but I just want to know your thoughts.
On Tyler?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he can help the team. I do believe that. Again, for me, it always goes back to me just knowing how Tibbs is and accepting it. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be opposed to him playing, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, he's a game changer. What I will say is this time is gonna really show how much of a game changer he can be. Because I will say this, his skill set, no one else on the team has that, really.
It's true.
You know what I mean? So it's a unique skill set to this team that can be utilized. And that's why I think, I wanted him to play early, like, to be honest. So I'm on that train. I'm just not on the fire Tibbs train.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, because I understand the dynamics of building the players up and making them earn what they get.
Yeah.
And so but here's the thing. I always said defense is the biggest hurdle, and that's a detriment, especially on a Tibbs team. You know what I mean? Because if you're not defending, and it becomes if it's hurting the team, you're gonna be on the back of the rotation anyway. So that's to me, that was always his biggest hurdle. The reason I thought he could play is because he doesn't make mistakes. He's low turnover, and I didn't think he would be having 8 and 9 assists this early. You know what I mean? But he's showing he could do that as well. I thought it'd be like 5 assists, but 8, 9 assists, no turnovers. That's
yeah.
You know what I mean?
My game is tomorrow, right? See what he, see how it looks out there tomorrow. against a much better basketball team. 40-31, Clippers are. They're playing well. Decent defensive team. See how he responds to that tomorrow.
And honestly,
he's gonna play. He's gonna play. Right? And I don't think Deuce is coming back. Brunson ain't coming back, so not for tomorrow night's game.
oh yeah, he's gonna play for
So he's gonna play
the next couple games.
You know what I'm saying? So, now, against a team like the Clippers, I think, this is, you really get to see.
Yeah, because they're savvy enough that they will go at him. You know what I mean? They will test his defense. Where we haven't really seen that the past 2 games. You know what I mean? He was able to play freely. Shout out to him tonight with the block. You know what I mean? Showing some defensive skill set.
He works hard on defense.
He does.
Right? He'll close. You see him close out to those 3-point shooters, even if it's not his guy. He closes out to those shooters. Which that's what you're supposed to do.
He reminds me of
everybody
Brunson
doesn't always do
in that sense. He reminds me of Brunson in that sense that it's not the effort. You know what I mean? Like his limitations are because of his size, not because of his effort or
not the effort, his size and foot speed.
I'll give you that.
Size and foot speed. If you, and this is what I see sometimes too, since I've been watching him. When he was defending Spencer Dinwiddie, his defensive footwork could be a little, somebody really, really quick could make him fall, I think. You know what I'm saying? But he works hard, and that defensive footwork can, just come with more work. I'm pretty sure teams will. The coaching staff will say, hey, we need you to work on this, and this. To improve defensively, but he works hard, and I think that that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's not a great defender, he works hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He works hard. Greg said, last time I checked, Brunson can't defend. Brunson will also give you 40, and he'll also give you 40. So shush, please. That makes a big difference. that makes a big difference.
And Brunson has effort on defense. That was my point. His defensive limitations is because of his size, not because of his effort.
Yeah, and this is why tomorrow night's game is a big one for him. You know what I'm saying? Because you're playing a smarter team, right? That may look to say, all right, let's see if we can exploit it. And I think his teammates have got to be aware. Say, okay, they're trying to exploit him. Let's help him so that he doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's been finding you guys for, some open shots. Now help him defensively if that's what's necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Help him stay on the floor and keep helping you guys.
Exactly. Help him stay on the floor. You know what I mean? See what tomorrow. Let's see what tomorrow holds for him. You know what I mean?
Another positive I just want to point out for him, and you tell me if you agree or not. I would put him in top 5 in basketball IQ on this team.
On this team, he probably on this team, yeah, probably. I guess Cat has a good basketball IQ as far as offensively, at least. Josh Hart, maybe a little bit. I don't know who else. PJ Tucker, like I don't know if OG has a really big high basketball IQ. You know what I'm saying? Or Bridges has a high basketball IQ. So. He's definitely a coach's player, right? You see him turning to Tibbs. What do you want? And that's what you're supposed to do. If you're Tyler Kolek, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to say, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? You do what the coach wants until you get more of a leash. You know what I'm saying? You get more of a leash, and then you can start to make more decisions. Especially like you learn exactly what the coach wants.
Mhm.
Then when you learn what the
Then you
coach
don't
wants,
gotta ask.
you don't got to
You,
ask,
it's
and
familiar to
then
you.
right, it's familiar, and then you start to grow outside of what the coach wants. You know what I'm saying? And so he does that. He hey, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? He directs people. To move them into whatever spot that they're supposed to be in. You know what I mean? He does those things. So, he's doing what he should be doing. He's definitely doing what he should be doing. You know what I mean? I like to see it. I like to see it. I'm not expecting him to, score a bunch of points. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if he has the speed or the footwork right now. You know what I'm saying? To score like that. He had a nice layup at the end of the game. It was a nice layup. You know what I mean? What he's got to do is knock that three down when he gets the chance to.
Mhm.
You know,
I like the shots he took though, the threes he took tonight. It showed like those were more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like he as soon as he got the space, he pulled up. Like some
Pulled
of
up.
them surprised me,
Yeah.
but they were good shots.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that he's taking those because I think eventually if he's that comfortable, they'll start falling.
Yeah. Pears said Sim is a point guard, so I'm disappointed on the hate on Kolek running the offense. What hate did I throw at the kid?
I think they stuck on the a couple games ago when we say he might not be ready.
Yeah. I mean, it's a process. He played well against some bad teams. Dallas was a step up from the Wizards. Right now, the Clippers is going to be a couple steps up from both of those teams. This is the perfect time for him to come out and play and perform. And he's doing it. What do you want me to say? Because I'm not saying, oh my gosh, this guy should be doing this, that, and the third. You got to play this, you got to play that. No. I'm an even kill person. I want to see it against the Clippers and then see it again. Because the one thing that has not happened is that teams haven't game planned for him.
And early in the year, we seen teams go at him when
Right.
he was playing early in the year. We seen teams try to expose him on the defensive end. So we haven't seen that in the last two games because I've been looking for it. You know what I mean? I've been waiting to see how much he's shown on that end. And like you said, Sim, if his team is gonna teammates are able to back him up.
Back him up. And part of it with the last two games is due to the level of teams that we played. You know what I'm saying? Young players too, you know what I mean, that probably have a hard time following what their coach is telling them to do. That's why tomorrow is a really, really good game for him to perform well. Against a team that's going to be smarter. Obviously a better team. You know what I'm saying? If he can come out and perform well, now you're cooking with something. Now you're cooking with something. So, I'm just staying even kill. I don't have any hate towards the kid. There's a lot that goes to being an NBA player, not just performing well in two games. You know what I mean? Because when teams start the game plan for you, things change. You know what I'm saying? And, once they start to put you on the board and say, okay, this is what he likes to do. Here's his tendencies. Let's do this. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Now, can that player rebound from that? Or, figure out what the defense is doing or what the opposing team is doing and then figure out a new way to be effective. And I'm not saying he can't do that. All I'm saying is let's see what happens when he plays against a team like the Clippers. And then the Bucks. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with that at all. And there goes how a player develops and learns. what I'm saying? You get your opportunity, you get your shot, and you make it happen. So far, he's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? So far, he's doing his thing. You know, I could see if I was up here saying, "Oh, he sucks." You know what I'm saying? He played against these teams. He's still not good. Da 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 da. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and I don't even think like talking about the opponent is discrediting his performance because the performance is great. And again, for me, the biggest thing is he don't turn the ball over. You know what I mean? Like that's a great thing. I don't care if you're in the G League, you know what I mean? You third string playing in garbage time, or if you playing second unit minutes, like that's big. That's huge because that will keep you on the floor. So he's, you know what I mean? He's showing
he doesn't force much. He doesn't force much. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to take the quick little small pass right there. You know what I'm saying? Pass it to me, I'll pass it back to you really quick. You know, he's not afraid to do that. Some players, want to make the home run play and do all of these crazy things. He's not afraid to just make the easy play.
And another part of that skill set, like again, there's a good argument for him to play more. You know what I mean? But again, I understand the process. But his ball handling, again, another aspect of things we're lacking that he could bring to the table. Because that helps him. That's part of the decision making. He doesn't pick up his dribble. He's a setup guy, you know what I mean? So if he can't get the pass clean, he's gonna reposition and then get it, you know what I mean, and then find the angle. So things like that. Like
right. Yeah. JJ asked the question. Is Kolek getting minutes when we're healthy? I say no. I agree. He's probably not going to get minutes when the Knicks are fully healthy. You know what I'm saying? But what you have done and is you get into playoffs or whatever and guys go down, you know what I'm saying? He's gained some confidence and his players have gained some confidence in him.
You know
what I'm saying? And the coaching staff, everyone gets a good look to say, all right, maybe we can let a guy like Campaign go and rely on Tyler Kolek.
And he's already accustomed to the stay ready mentality.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like if he falls out the rotation or whatever, but then that opportunity comes again, he's confident enough to know I could, like you said, I could do this. I've done it. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I don't gotta I mean, playoffs is a different animal, so that might be the reason why he's nervous as opposed to but yeah.
Kevin said, I think he should get Payne's minutes. And Kevin said he said this before. Do you think he should get Payne's minutes?
I thought that to start the year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But the argument for Cam, like the argument for Cam, I can't, you know what I mean, is undeniable because that experience, you can't, you know what I mean? You can't devalue that. You know what I mean? Even when we talked about the path of being out the league and fighting your way back in, we talked about his performance against us in the playoffs. Like all those things, you know what I mean? Like you can't compare that to Tyler's being a rookie. You know what I mean? So I understand this, but to start the year, I would have loved it, and I thought he played a little bit early. You know what I mean? He just fell out for whatever reason. It stopped.
Right. I don't think he should get Campaign's minutes. For the reasons that you just said. You know what I mean? I think that Campaign is a veteran. I don't think Campaign is, I'm not like, oh my gosh, we got to have Campaign on this team next year and this and that. But he's on his team right now. I think, I don't think he should get Campaign's minutes. You know what I mean? I think, as you get deeper, you play more games. Now there's film on you. I think that changes things. And I'll say this: for as long as Deuce is out and he's playing, for as long as Brunson and Deuce is out and he's playing, we'll get to see more. You know what I'm saying? We'll really get to see what happens when teams start the game plan for them. You know what I mean? When the defenses are better, when you're playing against more intelligent players. You know what I'm saying? Now, we'll get to see more. And if he can continue to produce, I'm not saying he's got to produce 8 and 9 assists. You know what I mean? But if he can continue to produce solid numbers, then you can say, okay, maybe he should, be playing. But if you're playing Cam's minutes, well, when I talk about Cam's minutes right now, obviously, because Cam's minutes right now are starters minutes, so we're not talking about that. You're talking about 18 minutes, that 16 to 18 minutes that Cam normally plays. That's what you're talking about now. I mean, but even if, okay, so let me ask people this, right? People are saying that he should play, well, whoever's saying that he should play Cam's minutes, it doesn't add, if he's playing Cam's minutes, I don't think he's getting 8 or 9 assists every time he steps on the floor, because those games aren't always going to be blowouts, right? 3, 4, 5 assists when he steps on the floor. Maybe closer to the 5 number. 2 points, 4 points, maybe 6 points. He's gonna do those things, but you're still probably with just an 8, maybe 9-man rotation. So is it actually expanding your rotation? Who is it? Kevin, do you think that we're just getting a better player than Cam, and that's going to make the team better? Or are you looking to expand the rotation? Because you're saying he should take Cam's minutes. If he's taking Cam's minutes, then that means you're still only playing with 8 players. So do you want him to take Cam's minutes, or Tibbs to expand the rotation so you're playing more players and he plays with Cam? He played with Cam tonight, so. What do you think, Tony?
I don't think he should necessarily get Cam's minutes. I thought there were opportunities though throughout the year where he could have played more, because there were times where Cam was seemingly out of the rotation, or his minutes dwindled down to 4, 6, 8 minutes in some games, and so I thought those were times where you maybe that could have got 4 minutes for Kolek. But again, you got to look at it. You got to look at the whole picture. Like, you can't just look at what Tyler does good or great, whatever, and not look at everything that Cam brings, because Cam is a solid defender. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And you're losing that. Like, it's not even like it's close. You know what I mean? Like the defensive skill set. So you're going from plus defense to minus defense. You know what I mean? So you really gotta weigh all those things out. Again, that's what the coach probably does more than we do. It's that, you know what I mean? We like to just look at what guys do well. So I again, if you're putting Tyler in there, yeah, it might get guys going. You know what I mean? It might make the offense flow a little bit better. Might not be that many turnovers and things of that nature, but we lose a lot defensively. And so now it goes, who's on the floor with him? And again, one of the things I talked about early in the year was I can't wait to see Tyler with Mitch, and because I think that could be a dynamic. You know what I mean? And now you got some defense in the backcourt. I mean, to protect the rim, take over some mistakes, but then the lob threat, you know what I mean? Like the pick and roll. And so I think there's opportunities for it. But again, we can't rush anything. Like, this is year 1. We all don't believe Cam is going to be here next year. This little bit of experience for Tyler, you know what I mean, could be what opens the door for him to be the backup next year. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Right. And when you look at what the Knicks need this year, when you're fully healthy, they need to get better defensively,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily offensively. You know,
Even when you subbing Brunson out, you want to bring a better defender in. You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
you don't want to kind of be running the same. You know what I mean?
So it's a tough it's definitely a tough situation, you know, because the more he plays well, you know, the more it's going to be that, you know, he should play. He should be on the floor, but it's all about what the team needs at that particular time. You know what I mean? It's all about that. You know, Tom Thibodeau speaking on Tyler Kolek the other day, whenever he said he's worked hard all year. The things that he needed to do, he did. He works. He is a tireless worker, performed well in the G League. So when the opportunity came, he was ready. And there's still obviously a lot of work to be done, but he keeps getting better and better, and that's a good sign. And that's all that you can ask right now, for him to continue to get better and better and better. J Rock said, disagree. Our offense is ugly often since we have no ball handlers. Well, we're talking about when our ball handlers get back. We're talking about when this team is fully healthy. When this team is fully healthy, there were times when the offense didn't look good, but when this team is fully healthy, we've had one of the best offenses in the league, but not one of the best defenses in the league.
And I agree. Like we agree, he will help. He would help offensively, but he's not. You know what I mean? He's not helping in an area of weakness.
Right.
He's exacerbating the area of weakness, if anything.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, we need the defense. And it makes it a tough call. Yes, it makes it a tough call. But Cam is a better defender at this point in his career. You know what I mean? At this point in his career. So
what it does do, though, it does open the door. It opens the door if Cam's having a off night. You know what I mean? If Cam is making some extra mistakes, it does open the door for Tyler to come in and stabilize things. You know what I mean?
And if we get into a situation, especially in the playoffs, where our offense just stinks and maybe we're playing decent defensively, you say, you know what? Let's see if he can get some things going for us. You know what
There's arguments across the board on both sides.
There is.
You know what I mean?
There is.
Like, does he help? Because this is another thing early in the year when I wanted him to play more. I thought he would help the fluidity of the offense in the second unit. And in hindsight, you know what I mean? We've had one of the worst benches all year. So, you know what I mean? Does he broaden that horizon? Does he get the best out of, you know, some of the guys in the second unit feeding the, you know what I mean? But we also haven't been whole all year. As you know what I mean? Like Mitch wasn't here. Shamit missed all that time.
Right.
Precious missed all that time. So I thought him next to those guys would have helped. You know what I mean? A shooter on the wing, some defenders. You know what I mean? I thought that would have helped him early in the year. We didn't have that ability, so he was actually playing with worse guys next to him. You know what I mean? Like, and I always said that, like, the better the guys next to him, the better he's gonna look.
You know. Let's just hope that he comes out and plays well against the Clippers, plays well against the Bucks, and it continues. You know what I'm saying? And it continues. Now, even if he plays very well against those guys, I can guarantee you when everybody comes back, he's going to go back to being situational. Kevin is right. Right? Tips is saying all of that, but he'll be back. It's a situational when we're healthy. You know what I'm saying? He said, and I get it. He will. He'll be back to situational.
Well, situational is an upgrade from
that
you know
is
what I mean?
True. Situational is an upgrade from playing in the G League. You know what I mean? Kerry Cox said Kolek is a better bench sitter than Cam. Let's put it like this.
Does he cheer better? Because I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if he's
Cam can cheer.
he celebrates.
He celebrates. He'll celebrate himself. You know, he's talking to himself. You heard him tonight. Talk to himself. Talk to his teammates. Talking to everybody. You know, it's a development process for this young man. You know, let's let him develop. You know,
They
it's
always
not
want to microwave
you
everything.
know, let's let him develop. Let him develop. Let him cook. You know what I'm saying? Let him develop. Let him cook. You know, next year campaign won't be here. It'll be his time. It'll be his. And when I say time, I don't mean time as far as, you know, the superstar player. It'll be his time to get his bench minutes, unless like Chris Paul ends up on the team, and then he'll be learning from Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying?
And that'll be more experience. You know what I mean? That he could gravitate.
You know, but you know, let's let this young man cook and be a little bit patient with him. You know what I'm saying? Be a little bit patient with him. Let him continue to learn the game. You know, play. This is the life of a young player in the NBA. You know what I mean? And he'll get his time, and then a year or two, we'll be like, yo. Some people about to get mad at me. Tom Thibodeau did a great job bringing Tyler Kolek along, because look what he's doing now.
No, they won't. They gotta say he should have been played. He could have been doing this as a rookie.
Right. That's what some people will say.
That's what
he should have been playing him. You know, and I was waiting for some people to say that now. See, he should have been playing him. He should have been playing. See, we were missing this. We were missing that. And you know what my response to that is, though? Who knows if he played 18 minutes a game early in the season? Who knows if he does this? Maybe he needed more time for whatever it was, you know, that he needed. You just never know.
And
I'm just happy he's doing it right now.
Those good performances in the G League, those are confidence builders that he may not have been able to get playing. You know what I mean? Playing as a backup or playing as a third stringer. Like he may have needed all that, the minutes, the heavy minutes, you know what I mean? The leadership role in the G League.
Yeah.
He might like all that builds you up. You know what I mean? Then you come up to the big team, play a couple of minutes, don't play, learn from the bench. You know what I mean? Go back down, get some burn. Like it's all development, man. I don't know what people be talking about.
Yeah, I'm happy he's doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that he's doing it now. You know?
And this is how you say it? You got to give the organization credit as well, because they're utilizing the G League as a minor league system. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think most teams are doing it the way the Knicks are doing it. You know what I mean? Like they have these guys for down the road. You know what I mean? And they develop them slow, but by the time they get on a big club, they are ready. That's the difference.
Right. Greg. This is what I'm talking about. And this is he says, you're a liar. Tom had nothing to do with the development of Tyler. It's Senior Brunson who's working with Tyler. Even if that's the case, that means it was assigned by Tom Thibodeau. Obviously, Tom Thibodeau is not doing one-on-one drills with every single player, right? But just like if the Knicks don't do well, the buck stops with Tom Thibodeau. If a player does well, the buck stops with Tom Thibodeau. If a player develops well, the buck stops with Tom Thibodeau, because that means that Tom Thibodeau set up the development process, right? Just I had a discussion with, I don't remember who it was, right? And he was telling me how Tom Thibodeau doesn't listen to the coaches, and when he sits up there and he says, I made this decision, I made that decision, right? And I was telling that person The reason why Tom Thibodeau does that, you can guarantee they sit in coaches' meetings, they sit around and they all have discussions about what should happen, what the strategy should be, and this, that, and the third. Right? But the final decision is Tom Thibodeau's. And so he's going to say, I did this or I did that. Because if he says, well, Rick wanted to do this, so-and-so wanted to do that, well, now you start to throw those people under the bus if it messes up. And that's not what you do when you're the leader. The buck stops with you. So while it's a team decision in the locker room, it's your decision to the public, good or bad. So it's the same concept when you talk about developing players, right? Because you're telling me that Rick Brunson is working with Tyler. Well, let's say Tyler wasn't having success. Greg, you would turn around and say, Tibbs is not good at developing players if Tyler wasn't having success. But because he's having success, you're attributing it to Rick Brunson. You see what I'm saying there, Greg? But if you didn't have success, you say, well, because Tom Thibodeau doesn't know how to develop players. That's not how it works. Tom Thibodeau's the coach. He's the head coach. There's more responsibility to a head coach than just coaching on the floor. Part of it is setting up a development program. And when you set up a development program, you have certain coaches work with certain players. And you talk with those coaches about what the development plan or process should be with that specific player. And then that coach implements the plan that you set forth. And you can talk with that coach. It's not like you're just telling that coach. You're doing it as a team together. Okay? So, cool it. Cool it. You got to cool it, Greg. You got to cool it because I don't think you know everything you're talking about. Cool it. Cool it.
I got one, son.
Yeah.
This my guy too. Parrish Duggar. Where's it at?
Greg said, I know for sure it's Brunson's dad. By not works for the Knicks, he sees, I don't know what you're saying. By not works for the Knicks, he sees him all the time working with Tyler. Jalen works with him too. Great. That's what I'm saying. Okay, cool. He works with him all the time. Okay, your point? I just laid it out for you, buddy, on how it works. Parrish.
He said Tibbs wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Brunson. Save the Tibbs BS. My question is, would Brunson be here if it wasn't for Tibbs?
No, he wouldn't. Brunson wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tibbs.
Yeah,
I mean, Tibbs was here before Brunson. Brunson came here because of Tibbs. He wanted to play for Tibbs. Obviously, he knew him, but he wanted to play for Tibbs. Come on, man.
And my last thing on the Tyler thing, just in the Brunson comparison, is that there's nothing wrong with a Brunson trajectory, right? Like if you look at how Brunson started his career, second round pick, obviously didn't get the keys immediately, and progressed over the first couple of years, and then got that opportunity to ball out in the playoffs before he came here. But he had to grow into who he is today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he had a more stellar college career. You know what I mean? Coming into the league than Tyler had. Tyler had a great college career for sure, but it wasn't a Brunson college career. You know what I mean? So what's wrong with having that same type of trajectory that Brunson had coming into the league?
Right.
And developing into who he becomes over time, as opposed to, I don't know what people expect, man. There's no knock on the kid. That's the other part. I see his ability. I wanted him to play early. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad he's getting the opportunity now. And you know what? Maybe Tibbs made a mistake. Maybe we'll see that Tibbs made a mistake. He should have played early. But to just
And
stand on that, you know what I mean,
it's still
is
even
crazy.
hard to say that because if he's playing well, you just don't you don't know. You know what I'm saying? It could have been that maybe he should have, or it could be that maybe he should have played early. Maybe he could have did whatever all along. We'll see more in the next few games. It could also be that maybe he couldn't do it earlier, and he needed more time. He needed more growth. Both can be, you don't know which one it is. You don't know which one it is. Just let the kid do what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if he made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? The only way that I would be able to say that he made a mistake is if I, in my eyes, seen him in practice cooking everybody. And Tibbs was like, no, I'm not gonna play him.
Yeah, that's fair too. Because if he gets these opportunities, shows out, who's to say it wasn't because of the development over the time till now?
Exactly.
So
And that's
you can't definitively even say that.
Right. You can't say
That's
that it
crazy.
is because of the development up until now. You can't say that it's not because of the development. But you can't say any of that because we're not there. You know what I'm saying? Here's a good question. Sean Kearns. Is Kolek's ceiling higher than Deuce's ceiling?
Are you asking just as a career and as a player, or are you talking about in a position? Because Tyler's ceiling as a point guard, like I wouldn't put Deuce in a point guard position. So if we're just talking about player and career, I think that's the way we gotta look at it, and not look at it as a, at the point guard position. Because I don't think Deuce is a point guard. I think he's a small 3-and-D guy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, Deuce is not a point guard. Tyler Kolek is a traditional point guard.
That is a tough one.
Right. So who has the
highest
higher
ceiling
upside, the higher ceiling
at their position, at their role?
Yeah, who has a higher ceiling at their role? I guess if you want to say that, because Deuce is more of a hybrid. You can use him at point guard in a pinch, right? But he's not really a setup guy. He can obviously score better than Tyler Kolek right now.
I'll say this:
he's a better defender.
I think Deuce has the highest ceiling, and Kolek has the higher floor.
I mean, but have we already seen Deuce's floor?
Yes.
So if Deuce, if this right now is Deuce's floor, right?
Because even if Kolek's ceiling is, I think I don't know what Tyler's ceiling is, to be honest, but I think he could be a solid backup point guard for a long time. You know what I mean? Like 10-year backup point guard. I don't know if his ceiling is starting point guard. You know what I mean? I really don't.
Right. It's gonna, yeah.
So right now I would put his floor higher.
See, I don't know. I think right now is probably what Deuce's floor is. 10
Yeah,
points.
I think his floor is what we've seen. You know what I mean? But I don't know how much. You know what I mean? How much better Deuce?
So I guess what I'm saying is Deuce right now, because I don't want to say that this is Tyler's floor. This is obviously not his floor.
No.
Right? This is obviously not his floor. This is just the beginning of his career.
Yeah, no, he's nowhere near his floor.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a good one. I don't know. The real question, Kevin is saying, the real question is, as Real King said, who can impact a team more? It's going to depend on what that team needs.
And I think that's just as hard a question to
Yeah.
answer. You know what I mean? Because again, that defensive impact that Deuce brings is game changing. You know, we at times, you know what I mean? Maybe not night in and night out, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at times that it changes the game.
Like Deuce can be, name someone in the league. I can't think of his name right now.
You doing like a player comparison?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't think of his name right now.
do you got one for Tyler?
I don't have one for Tyler right now, but I got someone for Deuce. And this guy is a has been a team changer in the past. What's his name?
Beverly?
Guard, Patrick Beverly. He's been a team changer in the past. You know what I'm saying? Deuce can be, he has that, he's got that kind of dog mentality. You know what I'm saying? And never give up, never die mentality. Marcus Smart, right? Drew Holiday, I don't know if offensively will he be as high as Drew Holiday. I don't know. Defensively, yeah. So I think Deuce can definitely be an impact player, game changer in the league. And I don't mean like all-star game changer. I mean game changer as far as this guy really, really fits well. He can provide offense and he's great defensively. That type of guy. So I think he can definitely impact the team in that way. Right. But, if you need a setup guy on your team, you're not looking towards Deuce. Like if you have a defensive team and you need a setup guy, you're not, then Tyler Kolek might have more of an impact. If you have an offensive team already and you need defense, then Deuce might be more of an impact. So it's going to depend on what your team needs, I think.
I got a player comp for Tyler. This is a ceiling though. This is not right now. This is a ceiling player comp. And I didn't want to be like, oh, Nash or Stockton or you know what I mean. So I'm gonna say Andre Miller.
Okay.
So I think that's a good ceiling as far as and obviously that's going better than that would be him as a starter. You know what I mean? If he could reach that level, I think that's a good player comp.
So
he ain't gonna post you up, but everything else, I think he got like Andre Miller.
Right. I can see on this basketball team, thank you, JJ. I appreciate it. Took the words out of my mouth. I can see Kolek and Deuce play together in the backcourt because Kolek is a setup guy. So you can see them play together in the backcourt.
And depending on who you're playing, if the point guard is a harder defensive matchup, you switch them off that way as well,
right.
So they could complement each other.
It's a good thing to have. You know what I mean? And I think it's more proof too that this team is not fully. This team, as we see right now, is not fully complete. You know what I'm saying? And bringing Deuce and Dottier along, is part of helping this team to be complete and deeper. You know what I mean? I was hoping to get a chance to see Dottier this Friday. I don't think I'm going to. I think he's going to be in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Tyler's definitely going to be in Milwaukee, so I won't get a chance to see either one of them on Friday.
Wait, what's in Milwaukee?
Knicks play Milwaukee Friday. Or they might be playing at home. I didn't even. Let me see. The Knicks will be in Milwaukee. Yeah. On Friday.
But you saying you don't think they're gonna play?
No, what I'm saying is I'm going to see the Westchester Knicks play on
That's right.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I copy.
Yeah, I'm going to see the Westchester Knicks on Friday, so I was hoping to get a chance to see Dottier and possibly after a couple of games ago, I knew I wasn't going to see Tyler. I was hoping to maybe see Dottier on Friday.
I got you.
Yeah, but obviously I'm not going to see either one of those guys.
He might get sent back down.
Who? Dottier?
Daddy,
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
you know,
You know.
Precious seems to be back in the rotation.
Yeah. For now. For now. Parrish Duggar said the good news, Sim, Tibbs isn't going to play Kolek tomorrow. Why? Why wouldn't he play him tomorrow? Unless Deuce is back.
And again, even if Deuce is back, I think we might see them together.
You know,
Can't because Cam still start. I think Cam still starts.
Cam might still start. You know,
and yeah, I think we'll see them together.
Right.
Right now is the time where Tibbs is gonna do as much experimenting. Let me rephrase that. Right now is the time that Tibbs is gonna do the most experimenting that we're gonna see from him.
Ain't that the truth? The most experimenting that you're gonna see from him for the rest of the season. You know, during this time, the Knicks are currently 45-26. What do we got? 11 games left.
11 games left.
11 games left to the season, ladies and gentlemen. Can they win 5 of them to get to 50 wins?
I think we win 6. I think we win tomorrow too.
Who do we have for the rest of the season? Let's check out the remaining schedule. It's not an easy one. You know, we'll see what teams are doing down the stretch though. You got the Clippers on Wednesday, the Bucks on Friday, Portland on the 30th, Philadelphia on April 1st, Cleveland on April 2nd. At this point in time, Cleveland might be, they might be riding things out. Atlanta Hawks on April 5th, Phoenix Suns on April 6th, Boston on April 8th. At that point, the Celtics might be riding things out too. Detroit on April 10th, Cleveland on April 11th. That April 11th game, they'll definitely be done. And then Brooklyn on April 13th. I mean, for the most part, the Knicks are probably locked. We've known it for a while. The Knicks are going to be locked into that 3rd seed. They're 3 games ahead of the Pacers. The Pacers are, trying to make a little push.
Oh, you said we're 3 games ahead.
We're 3 games ahead of the Pacers right now. The Pacers.
Okay, where are the Bucks and the Detroit? Because I don't know if Dame is out indefinitely. Detroit might jump them.
They could. I mean,
I think there was a game back last time I checked.
Yeah. No. Well, right now, they're both 17 games back of first place, but Milwaukee has a better win percentage. Their win percentage is .563. Detroit's win percentage is .562. So they'll probably
What are they, a half game behind them?
No, there are no games behind them. It's just the win percentage is better.
Okay.
By .001 point. Milwaukee's
so I could
40.
See them leapfrogging.
Yeah, Milwaukee's 40-31. Detroit is 41-32. So I can definitely see Detroit leapfrogging Milwaukee. Yep. So yeah, that and Indiana's 2 games above Milwaukee, 2 games above Detroit. The Knicks are 5 games above Milwaukee, 5 games above Detroit, just 3 games above Indiana. Indiana's playing well. They're 7-3 in the last 10. They've won 5 straight. So You know, this
So if they're
without Brunson playing, that 3 games is a little bit tighter than it seems. So it might be a little bit tighter than it seems. Let me ask you this: do you think the Knicks bring Brunson back so that he can play, get his 65 games in, so that
how many
he can
how
be
many
eligible for All NBA?
I think Brunson tries to be ready for it. I don't know. I'm not gonna and I yeah. I'm gonna say yes, but I'm not saying this is a Knicks organization thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is gonna be a Brunson thing. And they may even, they're gonna obviously support his decision, but they're probably gonna do like a minutes restriction. You know what I mean? Like if he's not really 100%, and they're gonna do some type of ease him back type thing.
Right, because I think he's
You know
got
what
to
I mean?
get 20 minutes in 2 games. He's played 61 games. He's got to get 20 minutes in 2 of the games and 15 minutes in 2 of the other games.
Oh, he only got to play 4 more games.
Yeah, he's played 61 games.
Oh, yeah,
So he's only got to play 4 more games to be eligible
yeah.
for,
Okay.
All
Yeah,
NBA.
yeah. Then yeah, 100%. 100%. We got 11 left. Yeah.
11 left. Yeah,
He's playing at the very least he's playing the last
the
4
last
games.
4 games, right?
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And they'll say, well, we got to get him back in shape.
mhm,
Get him back into the team and all of that. Yeah, he'll be
mhm.
qualifying for it. He
might
definitely
might
will.
not even start him the first one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Might have him come off the bench, get the 20. Is it that order 20 20 15 15 or any order?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
Because it would be wiser to be like 15 15 20 20. Let the minutes rise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Especially if they know this is a person coming
I
back
don't
from
I don't
an
see why
injury.
they would have to be in order. You know what I mean?
Any order, somebody said.
Yeah.
Kevin Durkin
Yeah.
said.
I don't see why they would have to be in order. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Well,
could see them doing that though, letting the minutes progress too. You know what I mean? Do the
mm-hmm.
15, do the 20. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Do 30 the next one, and then or whatever they need in that last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
JJ said he's playing 40 minutes first game back.
Yo, that'd be crazy.
It's messed up because
That joint could
it's not
happen.
out the realm of possibility.
It's not. It's not. It's not out the realm of possibility. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think once the Knicks fully lock up their seed,
Mm-hmm.
At that point you got, just let the guys rest. Will Tom Thibodeau do that? No. It's not gonna happen. For this team, because we've suffered some injuries towards the end of the season, it might be a good idea. But will Tom do it? I don't think so. I think it's going to be, we want to keep winning. We want to keep doing this. We want to have that group going into the playoffs. Guys, you know what I'm saying? They will definitely play less minutes, though, because I think even last season, when it was locked up, guys played less minutes. But Tom Thibodeau's going to play them dudes. He's going to play them. Now, the thing is, they do get a week off, right? Every team gets that week, week off for the play-in to happen,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a good thing nowadays, today, because in the past, your higher level teams. I mean, in the past you went right into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Now you might have swept your higher level teams might have swept or whatever, and you were waiting around for a while. But now everyone gets that. All the playoff teams get that break in between while the play-in is going on, and then so it gives them a little bit of rest, a little bit of time to prepare. Especially teams like teams like the Knicks, who should know who they're playing in the first round. You get a little bit of time to rest, so that you can rest and prepare. Teams like Cleveland, who may not know who they're playing, it could be a little bit longer until they know who they're playing. So, playoff time. I'm excited, man. I can't wait. I don't know what it's gonna hold for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? I don't exactly feel like we're playing at our peak going into the playoffs. Hopefully, we hit the last 5 games or something like that, and we can really be playing at peak level. But I don't know. We're not really playing at our peak. We played well tonight, though. I'm saying 40 assists on 53 made baskets.
I think
it's nice.
I think this team is good enough though that if 2 guys are playing at their peak, I think we could win. We could win games. We could win a series with 2 guys playing at their peak, not necessarily the collective. You know what I mean? And I will say, it does seem like OG is in peak form right now. Like this stretch it's been about 10 plus games where OG's been been on a nice stretch.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, see what's up, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Got to head off for the night. Got an early morning. The Knicks play the Los Angeles Clippers tomorrow. I'll definitely be on tomorrow night. Looking forward to talking about how well Kolek performed against the Clippers.
What time's that game,
8 o'clock, I believe.
Right.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe
it probably is.
I think it's 7:30. Let me check.
Oh.
The Bucks game was 8 o'clock. Tomorrow's game is 7:30.
Okay, good.
7:30.
All right, I might be able to jump on for about 30 minutes with you, son.
Okay.
I gotta be to work early on Thursday.
Yeah.
But
now I'm gonna be Kevin. It's an early game tomorrow, 7:30. Well, regular game tomorrow, 7:30. Yeah, I gotta be up early tomorrow morning. I got a late rest of the night, and then be up early tomorrow morning. So,
yeah. We probably won't get a losers lounge for, maybe the last week of the season. I'll get back on it. I'm about to be moving, so
yeah. We got some moving parts. We've had moving parts and pieces all season long. So be easy with us. We'll be back in full swing. Hopefully playoff time we'll be back in full swing. But it's been a season for me. It's been a season of change and moving, and I've had a lot of opportunities outside of YouTube. My other business, business is picked up in that aspect. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I'm kind of I'm trying to figure out the best schedule and the best way to do content in between working with clients. So it's a little bit tough. The scheduling is a little bit tough right now, but I'll get it straight. I mean, so when I miss shows, it's normally due to me traveling or, personally, I have some things going on with family members, that I've got to deal with as well. So, sometimes life's, and, you got to handle it.
Craig is wild.
I'm going to sell it to Greg. gonna sell it to Greg. I'm gonna sell the channel to Greg.
Nah, he gotta get on the show first, or call in or something.
You know, but Greg, you know, when business is successful, sometimes you know, sometimes that's what you got to go where the money's at. Sometimes that's how things work, bro. You know what I mean? And obviously, my family's always gonna take precedence. So it is what it is, you know. But you know, we'll be back. We'll be back in the saddle. You know what I mean? For sure, we'll be back in the saddle. You know, we got some good things. We'll be back in the saddle. You know what I mean? Anyway, Tony, any last things?
Nah, man, let's get this win tomorrow. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make the show tomorrow night soon, but if not, you know, it might be a week before you guys see me because I gotta get these things in order. But once I make this move, you know, it's full throttle.
That's it, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'm out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.